Here's a look at how to use your course plenary and homework test screens. Each lesson video, as part of your online course, is accompanied by a plenary test, which usually comprises 10 questions on the topic covered. Scores in these tests are an effective way to assess a student's understanding of the week's lessons and monitor their progress on the course. Students have until Sunday 9 p.m. to complete their plenary tests. To access your plenary tests, we can select the Take Test icon. This will bring up the instructions and examples for the type of test you're about to complete, and then we can select the button to take us to the test screen. There are a number of helpful features here to help students improve their exam technique. Students can see the question at the top of the screen, followed by the answer options. Plenary tests are usually timed to test a student's speed and recall. This time limit can be 30, 45 or 60 seconds for each question. Once a timer has run out for a given question, the test will automatically move on to the next question, and students can then not return to that previous question. All the total tests may be timed. Some plenaries may have no time limit. Once students select their answer, they can also select the confidence rating for it. This allows students to easily identify their weaker topics when reviewing their tests. The timer will stop counting when students have given an answer, so that they can see how long they spend on each question. The timer at the bottom of the page will continue to count so that students can see their overall timing. The flag feature can be used to mark questions that are particularly tricky. This is useful if students wish to leave them until the end of their tests and come back to them. The skip button can be used to do this. This can help students to improve their exam speed and technique, as they can avoid spending too much time on questions they are unsure of. The timer at the bottom of the page will continue to count up so that students can see how long the test took them. There are several different styles of question that a student might encounter in their plenaries and homework tests. The first is the multiple choice style question, in which students select their answer from a number of options. Questions will specify whether students should select one or multiple answers, so it is important to read each question carefully. Standard format questions require students to type in their answers themselves. For a partial word like this, we should type in the full word. These questions will usually test the accuracy of a student's spelling, so double check your answers carefully. Once a student has finished their test, they can select the Finish icon. This will prompt them to review their unanswered questions, to review all of their questions, or to end the test. When the timer runs out for each question, the test will automatically end. Students will immediately see their score, and then they will be taken back to their course assignments page. Once a student completes a plenary or homework test, the test can be reviewed. By clicking on the percentage score of a first attempt, students can review the marking of the test to see which questions they got wrong. An exclamation mark will signify that the student did not answer the question or skipped it. A tick will indicate that the student got the question correct. And an X will indicate that the student got the question wrong. This is a review of the test, and students cannot see the correct answers here. A sweep test button will appear after a test is completed whenever a student scores less than 100%. This prompts a student to make a second attempt to review the questions that they got wrong, after which they can access the explanation of the question. By clicking on the percentage score of a second attempt, so our sweep test, students can view the correct answers and the explanations. Explanations are accessed by clicking on the icon in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. These will show students the method for achieving the correct answer. Once a plenary is completed, students can access their plenary review videos, which will go over the answers to the questions in the plenary. This will help students to fill any gaps in their knowledge and will show how best to get to each answer. The homework tests on the current week's topic remain locked until the student has watched the lesson and completed the plenary test, thus ensuring that they do not rush into their homework before fully understanding the lesson. General homework tests usually do not have a time limit, allowing students to improve their accuracy at a pace that suits their learning. Questions instead will count up rather than down. All questions are still time recorded. This allows teachers and students to identify whether a student is struggling with their speed in particular topics. If students need to pause their homework tasks for any reason, they can select the pause icon, and this will allow them to come back to the test at a later time. To resume the test, we can simply find the test again and select the resume button, which will bring us back to the test and allow us to carry on from where we left off. The VLE also provides English comprehension practice to accurately replicate the 11 Plus exam. In some comprehension tests, students will have constant access to their comprehension text, which can be brought up by clicking the Open Passage icon. This will bring the passage up on the left-hand side. Students can read this passage as part of their test time. In order to close the passage, they can select the arrows here, and then answer the questions on the passage. Students can open the passage again by clicking these arrows and refer back to it as they work through the questions in the test. Students may also be asked to complete closed-style passages as part of their plenaries or homework. Closed-style questions require students to complete a passage by selecting the most appropriate words to fill gaps in sentences. To complete a word bank close on the VLE, students can select the gap that they wish to fill and then double-click the word they think should go in it. To remove the word from the gap, they can double-click it once again. Students can select whichever gap they wish in whichever order they like, and simply double-click whichever word they wish to fill it.